Money FM 89.3, the best of Saturday mornings. Saturday morning sit down.
Part 2 of our Saturday morning sit-down conversation today, and we are taking a deep dive into a youth-led sustainability in action program. Joining us in the studio, Andres Neo and Chua Ying, the co-persons of the Inter-University Environmental Coalition, and driving the force behind the first ever Sustainability Youth Festival, also called TSYF. That's happening this August at the Capitol Theater. Welcome to you both. It's great to have you in the studio today.
Hi, thanks Glenn and Neil for having us. Yeah, we're really happy to be here and really happy to represent the young people here and share with you more about what this festival is about. First of all, I'm Andres, so I'm the chair of the Inter-University Environmental Coalition.
Sure. And
basically what we are a network of 16 different university environmental groups from the various universities in Singapore.
And which university are you from?
I'm from NUS.
You're from NUS,
yeah,
as well.
NUS.
And Koya as well?
Yeah, I just graduated from NUS.
Okay, carry on. So 16 groups, environmental groups from universities around. Okay,
that's right.
Yep.
And we are really bringing everyone together because we believe in the collective power of representing the youth voices. So basically what we do, we touch on things a bit on policy, a bit on things like green careers, and of course a big part of what we do is really on the engagement front. And we are trying to bring that out through this platform, which I believe Koi will share more about.
Okay, we'll get to that, but let's stay with the Inter-University Environmental Coalition first, because I'm fascinated by this. I think it's a wonderful initiative, gives me a little bit of hope. How old is it, and how did it come about?
Yes, that's a very good question. So the Inter-University Environmental Coalition, or I shall say IUEC in short, has been established since 2021, so 4 years in the making right now. And it was really born on the fact that, I think our predecessors thought that it would be great if there's this platform where the different university CCAs can come together and share certain best practices. And of course, intermingle and, build those strong relationships such that when there's any concerns that perhaps youth have, be it in the policy making space, that's where they can then have a stronger representation together.
And just give us an example of what that looks like. So you're angry about something, or there's something you want to change. What do you do? What are the steps?
Yes, so I can share with you one of our recent example. So recently, there was the Committee of Supply debate. So this was the annual sort of parliamentary session where, the different ministries come together to share a bit of how will they allocate money, right, budget. So our group really deep dive into how, the different ministries are talking about sustainability and how they are allocating the budget. And that then translated into a physical session where we got together the different youth leaders from these various universities together in the same room and discuss maybe what are some of the steps and what are some of the areas of concerns or maybe certain, recommendations that we would like to provide. And then that translated into, a formal engagement with someone from the ministry, one of the public office holder, where we then shared and asked certain questions. So, I think this is a very ongoing process, working with the government, collaboration with youth is something that is up and coming. So we hope to be at the forefront of this to really sort of drive this kind of messaging and also, galvanize some of our fellow youth along the way.
And let's bring in Koi. Koi, you're the co-chair of the Inter-University Environmental Coalition. This event, the Sustainability Youth Festival, why from your perspective is it important? What's the groundswell of opinion among people from your generation?
Yeah, so I'm actually the co-chair of the Sustainability Youth Festival Working Group, which is a part under the Inter-University Environmental Coalition, which Andres is the co-chair of.
Yeah.
So I think our starting point for the Sustainability Youth Festival is really to showcase the cross-cutting implications of sustainability on other important social issues in Singapore, such as our perceptions of economy, development and progress. And we really wanted the Sustainability Youth Festival to show those complexities in a fun, interactive and dynamic way. We also believe that a good starting point to build up a heart for sustainability is nurturing it amongst the youths, which is why we are very lucky that we had the opportunity to work with EB Impact, who has quite a lot of support and partnerships with primary schools. And a big part of our festival is actually organizing interactive and fun booths and seminars for these younger audiences to get a quick introduction to sustainability and hopefully spark an interest in sustainability in the long run.
Well, and you're talking about these audiences. How old are the people that you hope will be attending? Are they university students? Are they younger than that?
So we are actually hoping to see a really wide range, from as young as 8 to 9 years old, our primary school students, and all the way. And we don't really have an age limit on the number of on the people who can attend the festival.
Could somebody as old as Neil go, and myself?
Even as old as us?
Yeah, of course.
And it's open to everyone. It's free, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay, and it's at the Capitol Theatre. So let's take a step back for both of you. You're setting up this Sustainability Youth Festival. You're all sitting there with your friends, and what are the key issues? When you're sitting there debating it, what are the key issues you wanted to get across at this youth festival?
Yes, I think for the key issues, I also like to share that, where we come in as IUAC is we bring what the different sort of university groups are already doing.
Okay.
So, the key issues can be, maybe a group is talking about biodiversity issues,
right?
Some of the human-wildlife conflict in Singapore perhaps. And, another group comes in and talk about maybe corporate greenwashing.
Yep.
Yeah, so there is that interconnectedness front whereby, different groups address the different key issues. And as Neil, you correctly mentioned, when we put people in the room, and when we put people through the different activities that we have planned, I think that's where we hope that people can have a greater idea of what is going on and how all these pieces connect together. And then we want it to be youth-led, right? So all these efforts are actually led by youths. And I wanted to point out a second thing that we have planned is actually this thing called the Youth Conference. So this will be happening from 3:30 p.m. onwards. It's a series of panel discussions. We are bringing together, thought leaders, people like BioGirl MJ for a start, and, people in the sustainability sector. So, the head of sustainable finance in UOB perhaps. And that's where we have these expert voices sharing with them, sharing with the youths in the audience, a bit more about their experiences and addressing key issues like how do we communicate science to the layperson, for example.
Yeah.
How old are you guys? Can I ask that? How old are you both?
I'm 24.
And you?
22.
And you organised this all yourselves? So you brought in the corporate leaders, the guys from UOB, you organised all of that?
No, we actually had the invaluable support of Eco-Business Impact. So they had the connections. They had some of the connections. Of course, we also tapped onto our own connections to bring in the panel speakers. But it was really a partnership.
Still very impressive.
Yeah,
very impressive.
Chloe, when I look at your generation, Gen Z or even Gen Alpha coming up, my sense, and I've read some things that say that your generation is kind of resigned to the future being kind of lousy, based on what our generation has done to the planet, for example. And am I wrong in that? Do you feel like there's a sense of, at least a segment of your generation that's hopeful about that change can happen and that we can make changes in an era when, Singapore is building Long Island off of the East Coast to protect against sea level rise and things like that? There's some real things that are actually happening. Do you guys feel more hopeful about what could be done in the future?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's really a mixed bag of emotions. It comes in seasons. There are definitely points of time when Andreas and I have felt resigned to the future. But I think the Sustainability Youth Festival really comes from the point of hope to really balance out that overriding sense of resignation. We really want to be able to make a difference. And I think one way that we wanted to is to start with the younger generations, really the youths who are even younger than us, because we believe that caring about the environment starts from a young age when they are more impressionable, and hopefully it just inspires them to continue pursuing it into the future. Yeah.
And staying with that, Andreas, and I do want to keep this positive because I think what you're both doing is fantastic. But to Glenn's point, you heard what's happening in Bintan. And then for every positive story, another piece of the Singapore forest gets cleared for BTOs or whatever. How do you feel like talking to young people today is great for maybe 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, but forests are being cleared right now. The Bintan situation is right now. How do we deal with that? I know the theme of your thing is every piece matters, and of course it does, but how do we deal with the pressing issues of today, right now?
I think one thing that maybe I can share is also we are coming to this festival also with an angle of practicality. angle of being realistic. So, we were sharing about all these different issues around the world. And it's true that, as young people, when we digest all this information, there can be a lot of what we call climate fatigue, right? So I think one way we try to, maybe talk to those that are, feeling the fatigue is really being a bit more practical. So this is where I think we want to also focus on what are some of the ways that they can take action beyond ground-up approaches. So things like green careers. And I think green career is also a big part of, our festival and also what the IUEC does, where we do want to create spaces where the young people can speak to the sustainability professionals for a start, and also at the same time speak to different stakeholders. So, you're mentioning issues of development, mentioning issues of, maybe certain conflict of interest, right? I think that's where, a big part of what we do here is putting young people in the same room as, let's say, policymakers, for example, and also in the same room as, people from the corporate sector. And I think having that sort of a diverse view and also understanding what are some of the trade-offs and understanding why certain things are done this way, and also at the same time helping the adults hear the concerns of the youth. I think that's a good start. It will be a long and arduous process for sure, but as someone that is in this space right now, I do see certain things moving in the right direction.
Fascinating, Glenn, isn't it, that Aaron Kramer said exactly the same as them. So at the start of the show, we had a global CEO who is in the ESG sustainability sector, and he said exactly the same as you. We need to be practical, we need to be pragmatic, and we need workable, everyday solutions that are relatable to the man and woman on the street. And they're saying exactly the same thing.
Yeah, great point, Neil. We're talking with Andres Neo and Chua, who are the co-chairs of the Sustainable Youth Festival, going to start off here in August. Koei, back to you. One thing I thought was really interesting was this this sustainability challenge that you've got. Now, teams can present innovative sustainability ideas at the conference, at the festival, for up to $20,000 in grants. I mean, that's real money to get, seed money to get something going. What have you heard might be some of the ideas that are going to be presented, or what do you hope will be presented? Or maybe Andres knows, whichever of you want to answer that question.
So the Sustainability Challenge is actually a component of the event that is mainly headed by EB Impact. Okay. So we don't really know what the entries have been coming in.
Got it.
Though I do think that we are really excited to hear about the pitches. So what's going to happen on the day of the event is that the finalists will be invited to come down to the Capitol Theatre to make their pitches to the panel of judges.
Okay.
And I can't really I can't really elaborate.
You don't know the
details,
details, but I mean, it must be exciting for you to know that this is happening.
$20,000,
and people get excited. Let's face it, when they have money to fund the things they want to do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think it's EB Impact is really hoping for this to be. I mean, it's already an annual challenge in the making.
Okay.
So they are hoping for the next year to feature this year's winners and what they've done with the money.
Of course.
To put towards the solutions in the environment.
So do you know anything more about the Youth Spotlight, which is a TEDx style sharing session where students can talk about the why and how of sustainability? Can you tell us more about that one? Yeah,
of course. So the Youth Spotlight is actually showcasing our member groups under the Inter-University Environmental Coalition Network. So one of our starting points for this member group spotlight is that we wanted our audiences to get an idea of how they can contribute to the sustainability landscape. So by engaging with the exciting new ventures that our member groups are being part of, it also gives them a better idea of how they can also contribute to the sustainability landscape.
Wonderful. Last quick one from me, because I love it, because it taps into the pragmatism, the practical element that we talked about. Career speed dating with sustainability professionals. That's got a kiasu element in it, because you can turn up and even get a job or a career. What is that? Career speed dating for sustainability professionals.
Yes, you're right, Neil. I think that's the kiasu element in it, in which we recognize how important careers are, especially among university students. Right, it's probably the first thing that they have in mind.
Sure.
And I think a big part of what that is really keeping it casual, keeping it fun, while also putting in a bit of structure to keep things moving. Right. So very, very quickly to share with you guys, I think we do have, people from the tech space, people from the creative media space that will be coming down, and it'll be an informal session where we'll pair up some of the youths with the sustainability professional, and then they will interact and, share a bit about, perhaps simple things like what does a day in my life looks like, right? And that gives them an idea and a context of, what can they expect in the, the jobs that they are interested in, and also perhaps some of the technical skill sets that are required.
Brilliant. So parents, listening, students, you can save the planet and get a job while you're there. What more do you want?
Hey guys, we have to leave it there for now. The Sustainability Youth Festival, Friday, August the 1st at the Capitol Theatre in Singapore. Free entry, but you do need to register at www.tsyf.sg. Thanks so much to Andres Neo and Chua for being in with us today. Appreciate it, guys. Good luck.
Thank you so much.
To listen to more great interviews, download our podcasts at audio.sg or download the audio app. That's AWEDIO, audio at the App Store and Google Play.